Hello and welcome to the tutorial for the dashboard feature in the Restoke platform. We're just going to do a quick run through now to see what insights users can gain from viewing this dashboard about how their restaurant's performing and more specifically about how the team is performing. So firstly, looking at the overview feature here gives us a bird's eye view of how our venue is doing. Firstly, this graph here displays all procedural issues that have existed over a time period of a month, week and day. Further insights will be able to be gained over the procedures tab here once we discuss it a bit later on in the tutorial. Moving to the middle section here, we have an activity log showing us the most recent activity on the platform. And this is another method of receiving notifications, the other one being the letter icon here. As you can see here, this matches up with what we've actually seen in the activity log in the middle. So that's one other way of viewing notifications. And in the far right corner here, we have two pieces of information, one being our weekly total spend in a dollar amount on supplies, and then the number of orders that we've actually placed for the week. So we can actually synthesize those two pieces of information to see how we're spending. Now moving to the orders tab here, this is giving us insight about how we are ordering and the expenses regarding our suppliers or supplies. So firstly, if you're dealing with a multi-venue restaurant, you can view your restaurants individually or you can actually see them as a whole. Sticking to the Restoke demo restaurant here, if we move along, we can see that currently viewing this by supplier, the supplier being the veggie provider for this restaurant. And then actually we can look at by item, and as we can see here, beetroot being a very popular item at the Restoke demo restaurant, moving down and giving us some insight in looking at in a hash bar graph type manner. And one other feature that can be used here is actually viewing this over a certain time period. So currently looking at 7 days, but if we can move to 30 days, slight tweak there, and 365 days over the year, we can see a more total amount there. And on the far right, again, similar to the overview page, we have two pieces of information, the total dollar amount of spend on expenses and the number of orders made. Now moving to the third aspect here is the procedures. So right now, this gives us insight into that initial overview graph that we looked at. If we go here, we can pick the time period up until 3 months. Let's say we'll go with the last month, and what we'll see here is a pie graph. As you can see here, created, completed, cancelled, completed with issues. There's no completed procedures as this is a demo restaurant and we have not completed any procedures yet. However, the two important insights from this chart that we can gain are the cancelled and completed with issues aspects. Why that is that if we can see a pattern emerging over time, there might be a chance that the procedures or processes that we've inputted into the platform need to be improved, or our staff need further training, or it might even have to do with an equipment or an appliance in the kitchen that's malfunctioning. So this gives us some insight about something needing to potentially be looked into in our restaurant, and we can actually get further detail by looking at this activity log of the procedures here in the middle section. As you can see the type of procedure that whether it was created, cancelled, completed with issues, and then if there was a completed one, it'd be here as well. The status, the created time, completed time, and if you click in, you actually get further insight. For example, if we go down to completed with issues, because this might be an interesting piece of information here, we click into it, we can actually see the list, and it's actually even. Firstly, you can see it here at the top. It summarized the issues in the procedural list, but it also, if you scroll down, you can see them asterisked or exclamation marks here. As you can see here, the freezer was not in the min or max range that we set, and that has alerted us. And this is an insight that we might want to be aware of. It continuously happens. That means that either there's something wrong on the staffing end or there's something wrong with our equipment. So moving back to the dashboard, and be wary that actually if you go back here, you can see a summary of all procedures over time. As you can see, it's logged in the history back end if you ever want to check it again. Also important for your health and safety compliance procedures, especially with your temperature logs. So going back to the dashboard, we have reviewed, back to the month here, apologies. So back here for the month, we've reviewed the pie graph, the insights from the activity log, and then we have a further insight here, actually a summary over weekly and monthly issues in which our most common procedures are actually popping up with issues. Again, giving us insights into potential patterns that are popping up in our restaurant that we might want to look into and rectify. So that's pretty much what the dashboard provides for now. It gives you insight into how your restaurant is spending its expenses on supplies and how your team is performing with completing certain procedures and processes. And this might not necessarily be a team thing. It might be alerting you to something deeper, such as an equipment or appliance issue. Thank you for listening.